Hey, we are live. So, welcome. I'm just going to do another animation demo today. It is a cold and wet day here in Dublin, Ireland. Great day to be indoors animating. So, I got this new rig, and it's a new rig to me. It's one of the Keil Figgins rigs. You probably noticed I'm a big fan of his rigs. Um, so, I got this one yesterday. Just a really nice rig, very stylized, kind of proportioned samurai, and I went looking for reference. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with it yet. I always like to, very often like to start off with the simple run cycle, just something just to get the thing moving around and just feel how the rig works, how the proportions work, and the skinning and all that kind of stuff. And I just find it's a nice way to warm up. I went looking around for references. I grabbed a lot of bits and pieces off YouTube and that kind of stuff. I found a cool little piece I might use actually at some point. I really like this idea. I was just looking for things with like two swords because like guy has two swords. That's that would be cool. It's quite slow there in real life. This is actually somebody demonstrating it rather than somebody doing it in a movie or something like that. But it's nice. It's really nice, clear reference. I'm messing around with it. If I hit, I can speed it up and maybe a keyframe pro. That's 1.5 times normal speed. This is twice normal speed. It's interesting how it starts feeling kind of light when you do that. But I like it though as a piece of reference because he hits these very definite poses. It's kind of like a move, pose, move, pose, move, pose. Like this kind of transition here. Like his legs take a step and then he stops in that. So I was thinking I might go blocking this out um, as my second thing to try with this guy. But for the first thing, I'm just going to try playing around with a sort of run cycle, sort of very stylized one because he's got a lot of that will come from the character design. Like he's really not, human proportioned at all. His arms are almost down at his ankles there. So I'm pretty sure his feet can touch his ankles. I've got his arms in FK here. Yeah, they can. So that's not something most of us can do. He's more like a gorilla in some senses than a person. But he's really cool looking, I think. And as I say, the more push the style, the character design is, the more stylized you can make the animation and kind of get away with it. So I think I'm going to try and have some fun with that. And I had this idea of like him charging, like a run cycle where he's kind of charging forward, and rather than the typical arm swinging, he's just got his swords forward and he's kind of just trusting them out maybe forward and back a little bit. I just came to mind like basically he's going to be like a bull. Like that's kind of what I want to get. Like I looked at some images online, and this is kind of the feeling I want to get from the animation. Obviously, this isn't. It's not going to look like this, but this idea of like the thrusting forward, the pushing leg, his swords would be his horns basically. I looked at some various reference as well from some bull jumping. Well, I didn't go to bull fighting because I think that's pretty gross. I'm not totally comfortable with this either, to be quite honest. I really like animals, and I don't know if I totally like seeing them being kind of made to do tricks like this. But as a feat of acrobatics and stuff like that, it is quite impressive to see these people jumping over these bulls. Um, and you just get to see some pretty cool poses, like that one there. Again, I don't like the idea that, bloody hell, he got set fire to the horns or something. I wonder how the bull feels about that. But this pose, anyway, this is kind of what I want to feel like, just that thrusting forward, just angry, directional force that's just kind of coming straight at you. Thinking about things like Samurai Jack, the TV show, that kind of stuff. I actually looked through some old episodes of that, and I couldn't find the piece that was exactly what I had in my mind. But just that approach, that really fast kind of anime style almost run. And here's another example of just an image I found again, which is that sort of very directional sort of force. So that's my. It's not reference in a very literal sense, like something I'm going to frame by frame. It's just an idea of the feeling I want to get. So that's what I'm going to try and aim for. And so I'm going to start off. I'm going to do a very layered sort of approach, which is how I often work with run cycles and walk cycles. I kind of start off with the feet and hips, and then build out from there. Some people prefer to build a whole pose. Because I'm not really working from reference on it, I don't really know what the whole pose is going to look like yet. So I'm gonna see what the character design will let me do. Like his legs are very squat and short, with this kind of very bulbous sort of shape to them. So I don't know exactly how they're going to work in a run cycle or how I'm going to be able what kind of nice shapes I'm going to be able to get out of them. So as I'm going to work on a very layered way, just kind of starting with the basics and then just building out from there and seeing where we go. So the one thing I like to do as well is hide any pieces of geometry that I don't necessarily want to look at for now. So I've made a layer here. I've made a couple of layers, like one for the geometry and then one for this I call it geo details. Just these extra little bits that just clean up the rig a little bit for me and just make it a little bit cleaner. I've also created a layer for the controls there, so I can when I scroll or hit play, excuse me, the controls will hide, which I love. That's a new feature I think they added in 2017. You can just turn off playback for a layer, and it doesn't play. It's great rather than having to show and hide the controls a lot. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to reset this pose for the feet, for the knee pose, because the rig actually came with a slight kind of pose on it almost, I guess. I'm going to pull it out in front to me. Just to get a slightly more neutral pose. I'm going to pull the legs in a little bit. What's that? Let's see, 1.7. This then might be minus 1.7. 7. Something like that, so that's very generic. But just to sort of get a starting pose, and I have no idea how fast I want this to be yet, but I'm going to start off with just 17 frames because it's easy to divide. Like it's a 16 frame cycle with like a frame 1 and frame 17 be the same. Frame 9 will be my middle frame, and it's frames 5 and 13 will be my breakdowns. I'm just used to working with that as a template, or either that or 24 frames. But I definitely think 24 frames is going to be way too fast, or way too slow, sorry. I think even 17 frames is going to be way too slow, but just as something to start with. So I'm actually going to just bring his arms up out of the way for a little bit. Just, I know I don't want this pose, absolutely don't want this pose, but just so I can see the feet better and the legs, the shapes I'm getting in the legs. So I'm going to go into, actually I might go into even the perspective or orthographic view, just to really see how far can I push this leg back. Well, I'm actually normally when I start a run cycle, I start with the fake pivot. Hello, hey, how you doing? Whoops, just knocked my PlayStation over. Bear with me a second. Yeah, I hope it's okay. It's just a lot of cabling under my desk. So yeah, I'm gonna start with these feet. Normally, I would start with a run cycle. I'd start with the in-air pose when the 2 feet are spread out, and then I do the contact pose, like or kind of the passing pose, really. Just basically up and the down. But in this, I really want to get this back, this push-off pose. It's kind of one of the ones I have in my head as the sort of more graphical one. So I'm just going to start with that. So the body won't be at its highest point at this stage. I'm just going to try and create a nice, interesting graphic shape here. Like something like this. I don't want this leg to come forward too much, and this back one, I'm try and stretch it back as much as I can and have it off the ground a little bit. I'm going to presume there's a toe roll in here somewhere, or toe X. Yeah, that's something like that. I want to feel that it's pushing off the ground, and then I want to push the hips back for that. And also, I'm going to bend them in this axis. The hip will tend to kind of flow through from the leg that's kind of extended. Sort of a general thing with anatomy. The problem is it wants me to kind of bring him quite low down before the leg straightens out there. I might just. I presume the scales on the legs are somewhere. A lot of controls from this. Leg length, yeah. Stretch on off. So stretch is on obviously. I can change the leg length. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I might try making it maybe like 1.05 or something. Maybe it's the same with the other one. 1.05. Just give me a little bit more room. I know his character design wants the legs to be pretty straight or pretty short. But I feel like I just want to get a little bit more action out of that pose. And then I want this to sort of feel like kind of one line right way through his body. So I said I'm focusing on the legs at the moment, but I still want to feel sort of this line of action. If I get a drawing tool here and make it nice and big. Like that. silly large, and just I want this sort of feel, that sort of swoop up. So you get this kind of arrow here. That when so I'm gonna try and get that pose, and that's why I'm really focusing on this pose first. I don't overextend. I don't want the leg to actually pop straight there. I want to try and avoid IK pop. Although I will probably end up keying every frame anyway, so it won't matter too much. But just as a starting point, I think something like that. I had rotated his hips back, but now I've actually straightened a little bit again because now I'm rotating the body controller, which also brings those hips with it. So let's just see what that. And I want the foot quite far back because I'm going to have him kicking off here into the air. Let's have a quick look at that perspective. Yeah, bring the knee over here a little bit. Bring the foot out a bit, maybe, and then tilt it a bit. Just to make this pose a bit more dynamic as well. I usually like to pull the knee poles out forward quite a bit just to give plenty of room. Keep it sort of in line. Really bulbous sort of shape of those legs. Just kind of keep it sort of directional sort of feeling. Yeah, I think that's not bad. I'm ignoring the upper body and the arms and all that stuff for now. I'm just trying to establish an overall angle. But yeah, I feel like that will maybe be my starting pose. Look back a little bit. I'm just trying to avoid hyperextension. So I'm going to key that there, and then key frame 17, and then frame 9, which is the in-between pose. Do the same with the body, the hips. So poses. And then I'm going to mirror the poses. I'm going to use my little toolbox here. Actually, sorry, I need to do the pole vectors as well. But again, just block in those 3 keys. And then the pole vectors, I'll just swap. The feet, I'll just swap. And the hips, I will mirror left and right. So now I've got just basically the mirrored version of that pose. If I just flick those, so I'm doing that. That's my basic pose. And as I say, I'm doing this then a little bit differently than I normally would plan it. I'm going to be winging this quite a bit, to be quite honest. I want to experiment a little bit. That's the other thing I'm trying to do with these demos is play around with my workflow a bit. You know, when you're working on a commercial job, it's always good to have things you kind of rely on and just know they work. But I feel like there's danger in that as well, as you can get a bit complacent and a bit comfortable in like how you always end up doing things the same way. So I'm going to pick a frame. I'm going to say maybe frame 5 and put this foot down on the ground. So I'm going to zero out the position and the rotation. And then bring it in a bit, maybe. Something like that, and then it's a knee pole. So that is going to be basically his kind of passing pose and a down pose. And see how far does the leg have to go, body have to go down. That looks good. I wanted to lower than this because I want that to feel like he's pushing off at that point. So he's going to go higher than that, but just to kind of be back here more, favoring this back pose. Something like that. Pull the knee in a little bit. And I might have the leg, the body shift over a little bit, just to bounce over this leg a little bit more, something like that. Don't want to do too much of that because the body, like if you look at like Olympic sprinters and that kind of stuff, there's actually very little up and down in a naturalistic run, you know, because it's a waste of energy. But in animation, we probably want to feel it a bit more as an up and down. So I'm just looking at those 2 poses. Yeah. And I'm almost sure I'm going to play with this timing. But for now, I'm just going to block in everything just roughly on kind of even breakdowns and just see how it feels. And then I'm just going to mirror that pose over here as well. Same idea again. That one. Swap these 2. Okay, now that looks really horrible right now, but let's just start. I think the down has gotten a little bit. It's strange that the down doesn't feel, or the upside here doesn't feel. Feels like it's locking out the leg a little bit too much. So something like that. Yeah. Oh, I didn't actually do the. I didn't mirror this. Mirror that as well because it was translating as well as the. I kind of tend to use this little hip controller here, just for rotation most of the time, unless I really need to translate it. Um, but I do tend to translate on this controller, and I'll do like the overall body angle on this controller as well. And I might animate that as well for overlap. But the kind of more detailed stuff I'll use for that need for that hip controller. So now I'm going to create the but that's my kind of push off pose, which is kind of a breakdown. But I really want that mirror tool works in any rig. Pretty much it depends. Like I say, almost every rig, but yeah, I guess most of them. I kind of set it up that it kind of assumes certain axes. So it's not like I have some options here for the spine stuff. Um, like with these on by default, they work with most good rigs, but sometimes people use weird orients for rigs, and sometimes it doesn't work. So I have to change these sometimes. For the feet as well, if somebody does something weird, like if Z isn't forward or something, then it definitely won't work. But I'm probably just gonna, they're usually not a very good rig if that much is kind of wrong. So yeah, it's one of my own kind of tools. I haven't released that yet. I don't know if I really intend to because it's just kind of a tricky thing to really make as completely robust as I like. I think A tools or Animbot has some tools for mirroring. There's a few other tools out there for it, so it's not something I'm really interested in developing as a tool for sale. It's just something I use myself, but it does. I do think it's good to have because I often see people like animating walk cycles or run cycles, and they're like copying and pasting stuff on the channel box and mirroring and stuff. It's just so slow. Like I really like to be able to do it with a quick script like that because it just means I can focus more on the fun stuff. The posing and the timing. So what I'm trying to do in this pose is I'm gonna take out that foot, that toe X. In fact, I might even push it a little bit the other way. Just to show that he's kind of pushed off that. Now I'm getting a little bit more of a sense of up and down there. I have this leg kicking forward. So yeah, definitely gonna be keying this on ones. Sure. But yeah, the timing of this is going to be interesting. So I'm going to say that is my basic pose for here for this frame. So I'm going to come again mirror over here, here, and then just those, mirror those. It mirrors the attributes as well, so that there will now have that 2x. It's funny, the pose doesn't look totally mirrored. Oh, because I haven't mirrored the hips yet. There we go. That's one that I'm just going to double check my work here. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Cool. So it looks very lopsided now because I'm still missing one pose. I'm missing the landing pose. And yeah, I feel like this cycle is going to be an unusual length to make that work because I really want this pose to be a key pose that we kind of see and feel a lot. But for now, I'm just going to put in one more pose. I'm actually going to put it in here. Put it in that. I'm going to zero out the translator Y, sorry, and toe patient X and Y. Patients. So basically, I want a landing pose. Yeah. I want to feel that foot contacting. I don't want it to come back so quickly. I want to feel it there, there. Yeah, I think it's on the ground too long now. I need to play with the up and down of the body. I'm gonna just key everything. I want this foot to be kind of kicking up. The space kind of like keeping in this arc, favoring that back pose. I want to kick through really quickly. You'll see me change my mind about poses a lot as well. Like that's just part of my process, I guess. I'm not one of those people that just keys something out and then likes it. you know, I need to I need to put it in there. But my current tools have mostly graph out a lot of hotkeys and because you should be PH Ghost and Dream Machine MG2 for Animal Recording feature. Cool, yeah, I think that would be similar to what my stuff is. MG Tools for Animal Record, I have my own sort of version of that as well. Key locators, it does sort of similar to that, or what's the other one? Locanator, I think that's the name of another one that's similar to that. And for Tween Machine, I have these buttons here. I have it's very similar to Tween Machine. It's just my own version of it. Graph editor with hotkeys. I don't use a lot of hotkeys in graph editor. My favorite hotkey actually is for cutting keys down here. If I set a key and I want to get rid of it, I just hit another key. I hit X. I have like S to set and X to get rid of the keys because I tend to delete keys all the time. That's one of my favorite hotkeys. Very simple, but I want to take the toe X off this pose. I'll make sure it's flat on the ground. So here again, this is why I like having that mirror tool. It's very quick. Just to swap those again. There. Here. Yeah, so I feel like that's super rough, but it's kind of a rough starting point. And now I'm going to just grab everything that's key, basically. Start playing around a little bit with where the keyframes are. So it's just this lot. I'm actually going to use that. This is another tool I like to use actually as well. All control picker. Just a nice simple GUI. So I'm going to call this lower body color or something. So now I've got a button I can just quickly select those, like adding selection sets to the shelf, whatever. You use the selection sets as well. But just nice and quick and it saves with the file. So I'm just going to make sure I've keyed everything, those poses. And then I'm going to just play around with the timing. I'm going to try taking all of this, moving it back here. So we have 2 frames, lower body, and then all of this will be here. So now my cycle is 13 frames instead of 7. Yeah, I feel like that's not, for timing, that's not too bad. I'm going to take off the 12. I'm getting pretty good speed with this rig, but I'm going to play blast it anyway just to get a feel for it. The other thing I like about play blasting with Keyframe Pro in particular is I can just hit hotkeys now and play around. And that is at 1.25 speed. I feel like that might be too fast, and that's at 1.5 speed. And this is 75% speed, which feels nice, but a little bit slow. I feel like I've actually kind of like what I have there. Timing wise, just at 13 frames for the loop. It's not super fast. I've done runs that are like 11 frames, I think, and 9 frames even. But I think for this, I don't want to go super cartoony. I want it to feel a little bit heavy. I'm also thinking about maybe doing some of that reference I showed earlier. So I kind of want to have something that might work with that. Hi, are you working or just fun? Well, I'm working, but not now. This is just fun. This is just practice, basically. I'm starting to work on, I think, on a movie quite soon, but I'm just, for now, I am just playing around, having fun with a new rig, and experimenting. You know, that's a big thing with these kind of demos. It's just trying stuff. As I say, I haven't done this particular run before with this rig. So yeah, I'm just looking at that. I'm going to mirror it and make it, I like to make it small. Yeah, I like that timing wise. And then I'm going to start making it feel a little bit nicer. So I'm going to start looking at, first of all, the up and down of the body. Kind of hits down there and then just stops. don't really like that. So this is where I start going to the graph editor. I'm going to loop on my curves, and that's another hotkey I have. And then just, you can do the same thing here by hitting these buttons, loop infinity, or you can do it here, curves, pre-infinity cycle, post-infinity cycle. That's the way I like to work for a loop like this. And then I also like to visualize them. You see, it doesn't actually, it does actually. I have it already set. Yeah, view infinity. I have that off. You can't see the loop. I like to have that on all the time so I can. So yeah, I'm going to start with the translate Y of the cog. I want to get that feeling nice first. Yeah, you can kind of see the why it feels a little bit clunky, but it kind of goes up pretty smoothly and then just boom, stays there pretty much and smoothly, kind of transitions down. So I'm going to put another key here and here. Actually, not there. And then I'm just going to grab these two tangents and just pull them down just a little bit more, just to give it somewhere to go. And then I want to make this spacing more interesting. If you look at it there at the moment, it feels quite sine wavy. It's a little bit just generic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two keys for sure and see how far I can push those to kind of give them more hang time basically. And his foot is still able to contact the ground pretty well in that pose. I'm not totally sure if I want his foot flat on the ground for that frame. I might even have it angled up still, just showing the heel contacting first. Yeah, I feel like that'd be more dynamic. Let's try that. The same over here. Again, I can just mirror that pose, but no harm in doing it manually as well. You might get a more interesting little bit of variation. But yeah, already I'm liking that up and down a little bit more. And then I'm going to look at the other side of the spacing on the way up. I feel like, again, let's put a key here, I'll put a key here. I want to do it like almost like a cartoony bouncing ball, so it's kind of like slow out quickly, slow, and then hold. It's kind of holding both extremes and then very quickly changing. Just kind of favoring this. In fact, I might even have that pushing off more quickly. Or what I could do is maybe push it down more. I just want to get a little bit more contrast there, I guess, as well. Yeah. And then maybe push these just a little bit more so it's more explosive. I don't want to overextend the leg though. Fix that. Yeah, that's not bad. Now I'm going to mirror that because that's here. Mirror it again. Here, let's see how that feels. Yeah, now the Y or the X translation feels very clunky. You can see there's actually a weird thing. I must have mirrored something correctly there at some point. So, let's see, where do I need it to be at? Extreme here, basically. So I might take that key, that's key 4, and just get rid of these ones. Maybe, yeah, key 5 actually, because it's right it's a little on the foot there. I'll take that off actually as well. So 7 will be my other key. And then 11, I guess. But this one, I think, and get rid of these. That's going to be a little bit more sine wavy. But I feel like the X translation, I don't want it to be too noticeable really. I might just favor that one back a little bit. That same thing here, back a little bit. Probably that pose here. And just fix my tangents. Yeah, so there's a tiny bit of favoring there, but not too much. Yeah, that's starting to feel a bit better. As I say, I'm really just focusing on the lower body and the feet. The upper body feels really stiff, but I can start overlapping that soon. That'll help with that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the path of the feet as they come up and the spacing. I feel like it's not too bad up to here. I'm actually going to key them all on every frame as well, just to lock in. stuff that I like before I start changing things. I'm going to stick a motion trail on this one. I can see, yeah, you can see there. I'm trying to get a sense of, like, from here, this foot, there's a quick, you know, where's that? There, from this pose to this pose to this pose to this pose, it should be nice and quick. That's like 4, 2, 3, 4 frames on the ground. Might push back a little bit, up a little bit. I might actually throw in a piece of geometry as well. Rather than just having the grid, I like to have something there sometimes, just to give me some contact kind of shadows. Create a layer from selected, just reference it, and I'll stick on screen space ambient occlusion. You work in Disney? No, I'm a freelancer. I work remotely. I'm based in Ireland. So I've got toe contact in there. That post there isn't looking too bad. Something like that. And again, I'm going to copy that mirror over here. Now, the other thing that's catching my eye is when it comes up here, this pose. Oh, wrong foot. Using mirroring things. Yeah, so it's frame 2. It's not really keeping this backward momentum going. It's kind of just stopping there. So I want that to push down. Now it's going to overextend the leg maybe a little bit, so maybe I might push it up a little bit further and have that coming through, and then we get rid of the toe. That's going to come back in the next frame. And then again, I just want to get more of an arc in this shape. So maybe have it come forward a little bit there, and then a tiny bit less there, something like that. And then again, I want to favor that back pose. I don't want it to pick through as quickly. I want to spend a lot of time in the extreme poses so we get to see those. Best thing about freelance save the travel time. Yeah, no commuting. Yeah, that's and I said the weather is pretty horrible here at the moment in Ireland. It's really cold. So yeah, it's not terrible being indoors in your own space in this weather. So I'm going to favor even this pose. I'm going to favor that back, and then this pose I like it graphically. Maybe push it a little bit, and then this pose I want to favor this front pose. Maybe even kick through a little bit. Yeah, like that. Bend back a little bit here, and then for me, you're just trying to favor the back and the front pose. And I'll do the same pass down on the other foot. I might delete that. Actually, well, I'll leave the motion trail there. I'm going off my mirroring stuff now a little bit. If I look at this side, maybe it's a left view or right view for this one. Just match some of those, just spacing wise. So again, here I want to do more. There. I'm not going to try and match them 100% for this time. Just get them kind of in the ballpark. Here, and then here again, I want that to be peeking through more. And then favoring back more, not coming through. Because this shape, like his legs, these big kind of, use my walk script is very useful. Thanks, man. Oh, great. Thanks, man. Thanks for your support. Yeah, that one has been one of my most popular scripts. That one and BH Ghost, I think, are the ones that people know most. And yeah, I use that all the time as well. It's really fun actually after you've done a run cycle like this as well. I often just play around with sticking on a path, just for the sake of being able to see it moving through space. It's kind of fun. But again, I gotta have it. Oh, I'm back. It's the wrong pose. That one. Yeah, I might actually though favor a little bit more forward. And copy that pose. Not to have complete. I'm trying to look at the outside of this leg as well as the arc of the foot. And look at the outside shape of this leg. It really changes it. It's going to flicker quite a bit if I don't think about that in terms of favoring as well. Here, I just don't want this shape to suddenly flash on and off. Like if you imagine, there's like a smaller pen. If you imagine there's like an edge here, if it comes in here, flashes, and then back out again very quickly, it's going to feel a bit stroby. You're going to see that flashing on and off. So I might tweak this pose. So we get at least a couple of frames of that area and back down. I feel like that might feel better. Yeah, I think it's doing it on the other side though, so I want to fix that one. Yeah, so same idea here. So it's always that balance between tracking the arcs on the objects, but also looking at the shape that you're making as well with the overall rig. Yeah, I thought that's going to be better. At least we're getting 2 frames of a similar shape. Maybe favor that one. Yeah, actually, that's one thing. It's kind of still bouncing out of that pose, so I'm going to add a little bit more just to keep that volume there for a second, or that trailing leading edge, I guess you call it. Same thing. Tiny bit. It's just to keep that edge in the same sort of place. Yeah, I feel like I might do the similar sort of thing in the back here as well. And now I'm looking at this edge here. Oops, that's a terrible color. Totally hidden. So this edge here, again, it's not too bad there, and then it's quite a big jump here. Maybe spacing wise, but that might be better. I'll have to see this moving quickly just to really tell, but having the foot kind of hang out in this back pose here isn't bad. It's going to give it more of a nicer silhouette there. And here, it all comes down to the style as well. Like if you're doing like a side scrolling kind of game, then you definitely want to really think about this angle over everything else. Right, how much you working on commercial TV shows? Yeah, kind of all different stuff. Really, I've worked on AR and VR stuff as well, and games. I think the next project I'm going to be working on is a movie, do VFX animation for that. How much time you spend studying programming Python? Not a whole lot. I do use Python, but I'm kind of old school. I use Mel for most stuff. I do write stuff in Python for sure, especially on commercial jobs because a lot of times the pipeline will be built around Python when you get there. Um, but uh, but yeah, I'm really kind of old school. I really like Mel. It is definitely a limited language compared to Python. Like no doubt about that. That it's not as good as Python, but it's one thing about it is it's Maya's native language, so it's very kind of quick, and dirty, I guess. But I kind of like it. Let's see how that feels now. Like into perspective view and hide all my scribbles and stuff. Delete. I'm gonna save for this. Keep my motion trails. The only thing I'm feeling now, looking at it from the front view, like this knee is kicking out maybe a little bit too wide there. Yeah, that's probably the same thing here. Although it is kind of dramatic. See that there actually. But I want it to be a little bit cleaner. Again, I'm just thinking about the shape from the front here. I want as much shape change in that angle because I just feel like it's going to feel a bit stroby. Something like that. Caps lock on. Tell me, thanks for that. But again, I'm going to play blast this and see. I'm going to hide my repeat frame. That's the same as this. Oh, it's not the same as that. Maybe bonus back there. I prefer that one. So now I've got to. Come on, Maya. Okay. Thank you. What I'm doing to copy the pose there quickly is I'm just middle mouse clicking on this frame with the when you're middle mouse clicking, you can click and drag without updating the animation. It's just a quick way to copy the pose, and I just hit S. Save it. I work with AutoKey. You probably can't see it because it's underneath my camera under here. But I work with AutoKey on. Like I set keys on only specific things, and I just leave AutoKey on so I can just change poses, and they won't. It'll automatically get keyed. So I'm gonna just have a look at, or just do a playblast, I guess. Again. Yeah, I like that. I'm just wondering, the one thing I'm wondering now, this front pose, if I look at this, yeah, I'm just going to turn on the lights. I don't have any lights in the scene. I just look at this. Yeah, I feel like this front pose maybe be a that view. Maybe be just a little bit more stretched out. Maybe not even quite contacting it. Cheese it maybe. Even stretch it maybe just for that one frame. Stop the knee locking out like that. Although we're now getting a sense of a straight leg, which is nice. I can play with the length of the leg. I often do this to cheat stuff a little bit. Just taking up to 6 there. Up and backing out. Yeah, I like that because now I'm getting the shape. I kind of knee locking in place there for a second. Yeah, I like that. So compare that to frame 10 over here. It just feels a little bit weaker. That feels a little bit more extended. So yeah, I'm going to put that over here. Say my script will mirror that attribute as well. Yeah, I feel like there's a little bit more drama now in that straight light pose. I'm just going to do that play last from the side view now to the wet mode on. In your opinion, animated must know coding, and yes, how much? It really depends. Yeah, I would agree with Fake Pivot. Yeah, like if you're freelancing, it's really good to be able to write your own scripts because you don't have somebody necessarily that you can just ask you to write a tool for you or ask you to fix something in your shop. But yeah, for freelancers, I feel it's particularly even I think animators working on games tends to be a little bit more technical than say working on movies or TV shows. I feel like depending on the type of animation you're doing as well, it can be useful to know some scripting. Even like if you look at people like Richard Lico, he does a lot of scripting and he writes little tools to do all sorts of stuff. Like he builds his rigs, even is very unique. I think that's kind of coming from his background of being a game animator and being somebody who has to like find technical solutions for things. Yeah, so I'm liking it pretty well now. I'm just the other thing I might try doing now at this point. This is something I like to do as well. It's just to figure out what would this look like going forward, like moving through space, and how is my speed right? Like how is my how fast forward would he be going basically? What I'm going to do is I'm going to just set a key where his foot lands here on the main control. Use this. This is kind of like a game animation, I guess. I'm going to set another one here. I'm going to do a left view. And I could ghost him actually. Let's see if I select the geometry. I select oh, he's all separate bits. That's actually really cool. I'm just going to select his feet and ghost him. Nice light ghost. So now I can see very clearly where his foot is in that frame, and then I'm going to bring this forward so that his foot is still in the same place on this frame. And this might be way too much, but we'll see. And now I'm just going to go into perspective view, and now I'm going to take the animation that I just made. There's literally 2 frames on that. I'm going to delete everything except for rotate C. Select it. So now I've got scale. I've just got translate Z now. I'm going to make that linear. So I don't want any easing on it. I'm going to set the curves to pre-infinity cycle with offset. post infinity cycle with offset. That's different to what I do with everything else in the rig. Everything else is just cycle, but in this, if you look at the curve there, again having view infinity makes it really kind of clear. It's going to just keep going. Whatever values I put there, just going to repeat that value. And look at that, I actually got it pretty much right. It's not totally right, but I can do now is just fix that. Just look at how quickly it's translating back. But yeah, I like the between these two frames. That feels great. I'm just going to go stab pose and then go here, and now I obviously need to push this back more, and that's fine. It's not overextending the leg, so I'm happy enough with that. I'm going to there's a little better. I feel again. Play with the rotation. I don't want it to come. And maybe ease off on the toe roll, maybe back a little bit as well. Don't want it coming off the ground as much yet. So I'm just going to keep it roughly in the same place in the world, but just basically kind of pivoting off the ball of the foot there a little bit. Yeah, something like that. So that's frame 6, which is just before the next contact. So that one, that's actually going to tell me something interesting now at this point. So that is the pose that will be over here. Mirror it again. But yeah, it's going to tell me something interesting that foot, if I wanted that to stay on the ground for another frame, it would have to stretch like crazy. Whoa. So it becomes a question of then, do I want it to do that? Or do I want it to actually leave the ground a bit earlier? And that's kind of a stylistic choice in some ways. Let's see if I just have it come off the ground earlier. Have it kick through a bit more. So now I'm changing my key poses a little bit based on how it's translating forward. Now I'm giving it more air time. And let's just see, this is going to be very rough yet, but let's just have a look in 3D space. Myself, like maybe 100 frames or something, and just see how the translation forward feels. Bust those doors for a second. Now, oh, I haven't set these things to loop yet. So select these guys and just loop them. They're looping. Oops. Yeah, I feel like the translation forward feels about right for the pace he's running at. Yeah, so now I'm going to fix it. So I'm actually going to have his feet on the ground for slightly less frames than I thought. But I still have that nice push-off pose that I wanted, which is the main thing. But so that's kind of why I'm glad now I actually started with that as my first pose. Because that would, to me, that pose is really important in this particular cycle. That's where I'm getting that line of action through his body. Yeah. Here. So I'm going to take that pose and make sure it's up here on frame 13, and I'm going to mirror it here on frame 7. Just make sure I copy it all and mirror it. And I'm going to take frame 2 and copy that to frame 8 and mirror it. And then frame 3, I think I changed that as well, which would be frame 9. Look, that doesn't feel too bad. Let's have a look at that in kind of slow motion. I'm going to hide the grid for a second. Distracting. Yeah, it's not too bad. The only other thing, I'm going to actually mute this translate C for a second so I can see him in just moving in space again for a second. See those poses, how they're translated. There's one that I don't really like. It's this one. I feel like his foot kind of gets lost there for a second. I feel like I'd like to keep that back here. I'm thinking more about silhouette there than marks. And this foot I feel like should still be on the ground. And I will, excellent. Maybe not. No, maybe I wanted to push off a little. Yeah, no, I do. See the way that back foot sort of disappears there for a second. I don't. That's what I didn't like about the other pose. This pose. No, I do want it to come through, obviously, pretty quick. That's frame 6, which is the second last frame before the repeat. I'm going to take that here on frame 12 and mirror it again. Yeah. I just feel like it's less stroby. I'm still getting the feeling that there's I'm kind of seeing the two extreme poses more than any other poses. Oops. I feel like that's pretty good for a start. Let's just do one more play blast this side. Actually, I'll do a play blast when I'm running off the spot. When we selected. It's really flying along there at a good speed. That he's out of the screen space pretty quickly. But I like that. Yeah, that feels right. I'm imagining if he's in like a Samurai Jack cartoon. I know that's 2D. I'm trying to get a little bit of that sensibility, that kind of graphic shape, because it's really lends itself to that. I feel. Here again, I hit X all the time on Keyframe Pro. Here, it's a nice way to kind of get your eye seeing from a different perspective, and also make things really small sometimes as well. It's just kind of again just makes you think about it on a more of a graphical level. Like, what can I actually see there? Can I see that the legs are pumping away? And I can even with it that small. There's a tendency sometimes to zoom in and be looking at things in a very close-up sort of way. And I was working on a game a couple of years back, and that was really a factor. I was doing all this really subtle stuff with the faces and the poses, and then we were actually the game was actually sort of almost an autographic sort of view, and you were seeing the characters from really high up and quite small on the screen, and the actions weren't reading at all. It's kind of the difference between like a film actor and a stage actor. A stage actor has to be much broader. Their gestures have to be really kind of big to sell them, whereas on a 100 foot for cinema screen that would drive you nuts seeing somebody moving around like that if they're very close to the camera. So yeah, it's another thing to think about. And I'm kind of thinking about this more as like sort of maybe in an action game or a movie or a cartoon, like a TV animation where he's kind of just flying along. Maybe you might even see it from a distance with like dust coming up or whatever. The other thing I'm going to do now is just take those rotate or translate Z curves on that rig and just move them back to frame 1, just for simplicity's sake. So now he's at 0 on the world, just for so he starts off like on the grid. Just a personal preference. And I'm actually going to take this layer here that I made for this thing. I'm going to make this bigger. Main width, I just want. No, sorry, subdivisions width. I don't want any really. Subdivisions height, maybe I want 20. Make this much longer. Just to give him something to run along. I like to have something visual in the view that kind of, keep my eye on things like foot slipping. So needs to be to go 100 frames. Quite long actually. I'm gonna give more subdivisions in 30. Just so I have like a line there. Push it forward a little bit. Yeah, I like that. And then I'm gonna duplicate that piece of geometry. Control D and put it on a new layer, create a layer from selected. I'm going to template this one and then reference the other one. And that means the template one will give me, I'll be able to see the polys. So it's just kind of like a free way of getting a custom grid, I guess, if you like, just so I can keep an eye on things like foot slip as I'm working, that I might change something and end up with it keep sliding around. But looking at it from this angle, it's pretty clean. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that for the basic body and arms and stuff. or not body and arms, but the basic torso and legs pumping away nice and quick. So I'm running low, a little bit low on time today. I don't have a huge amount of time, but what I might do is just block in a little bit of the upper body stuff. I'm going to mute the and turn it back into an on the spot cycle again. That's why I like using the main mover. Like I can always bake this to keyframes using Path Animal or something like that later on. But using that allows me to quickly turn it back on, back into a treadmill walk. And now I'm going to start animating the, back to my loop again. I'm going to start animating this body control in terms of rotation. So what I like to do is challenge here is sync graph editor display, timeline display, and then I can just, as I select these, it will only show me keys for those, so I can just delete that. And now I've gotten rid of all the rotation keys, and I can get rid of all of them in fact. So let's just put in a key there and there, and then as it comes up, we have them rotate down just a little bit, key there, and then see that here again, blurring stuff, blur that, and then as it comes down, we rotate it up a little bit. See that? Oh, I'm not keying X at all. I'm going to redo that. I key that. So let's say 24. Just to make something. Oh, 24. Over here. 24. Over here. Mirror that because I've got X in that as well. So as it comes up, I'm going to rotate it down just a little bit, maybe like 25. 8 maybe. Just, no, that's too much. 26. That's the difference. And then up here, 26 as well. And then on the way back down, maybe like 23. I'm just trying to layer in a little bit of overlap. Not too much, but just a little bit. I'll kind of add in more. Do I have time to do the upper body as well? I don't know. I'm probably going to run out of time a little bit in about another 10-15 minutes. So I'll probably just get the very basics of it and maybe come back to this tomorrow and do. I really want to get to these swords and test out my aim tools. That's a new tool I'm working on that I am going to be releasing soon. And I just want to make sure it works on every single rig I tried on, and so far it has. But I want to check that out tomorrow. It'll have to be tomorrow, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm going to do the same kind of thing with the actually, I'm going to do a little trick that's kind of fun as well. It's just copy the translation Y from the body control to the chest control. It's a nice little quick trick, and then just going to copy paste channels. You can do it there with do it through the channel box again. It's a script I have. So now I've put the Y translation that was on the body. I put that curve on the chest. And it looks identical. It doesn't really have much effect now yet, but if I start offsetting this, or maybe like frame, see how that even there that feels nice actually. And then what about 2 frames? Might be too much. Yeah, now it feels like he's kind of counteracting. A little bit too much. So just 1 frame. Yeah, I might even push it a little bit more, like bring these down to be a little bit lower, bring the ups a little bit more, just kind of scaling it a little bit. Yeah, that's not too bad. But I don't want it on these weird keyframes, so I'm just going to key it here, and I'm going to delete the last key. And then I'm back to like having it on, the same length as the rest of my cycle, but with it's offset. If I look at if I can select this one now, and look at the translate Y, you can see that the cycles are a little bit offset from each other, just a little bit, but just that little bit gives it then scale when it's needed. Yeah, it's kind of like this up and down is already working for the body, so why not why not use some of it? The other thing sometimes I might do as well is like take the translate Y. Now that I've got that working, copy selected, and paste it in the rotate X. This might look ridiculous, but let's see. I'll play with it a little bit. What I'll do is I'll scale it just to see. Because rotation, like, probably isn't going to be that big. Um, the value's not going to be that big. So yeah, definitely need to make it bigger. Sometimes I'll do it like by value, but sometimes I'll do it back to me like this. And again, it's like a question of how much. I feel like maybe there, I think those ones. No, maybe I'll try offsetting this again. Another frame. You know, it's a lot more dynamic or dramatic, but it might be a little bit too much now. Yeah, I don't like it so much. Offset that much. So I might just play around with the individual keys, like those two should match. Maybe have that come up here a little bit more. Have this more. So I'm actually going to make this a little bit sharper than the keys on the body. As like why? Like it's kind of locking its space there a little bit. Push this back more. So yeah, so this is going to jump back quicker. This. Okay, it's going to be more. It's kind of a weird looking curve, but let's see. Yeah, don't hate it. What if I bring these back a little bit? Oops, I'm not on that key yet. I want to keep it fairly subtle. I don't want too much of this. I don't want it to feel like he's you know, doing this. I really want to get the feeling that he's he's just really directional about where he's going. He's very definite about where he's going. So let's see how this one. Let me have this one. Yeah, bring it back even a little bit more. These ones. So yeah, I'm really playing with this curve now. So I didn't really actually, in the end, I'm not really doing much with it, but it kind of gave me a starting point, almost like mocap or, you know, I got something to react to, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, let's see something like that. I'd like to go into my. So I'm going to add more in the neck and the head as well, and his arms. So I don't want to make it crazy in the body yet. I might decide later it looks a bit stiff. I need more, but I'm definitely liking the translate Y in the body. That squash and stretch is kind of nice. So yeah, there's a good bit in his neck here as well. I'm definitely going to use this stuff. Geometry again. Definitely going to use this stuff. Let's translate. Makes the geometry jiggle. It's kind of cool. You can translate this back and forward. That's pretty cool actually. I definitely use that. Is there a neck? Yeah, neck translate. I like to use that in his legs. I get a bit of stress and stretch. So yeah, so definitely do something like that as well. That's pretty cool. The other thing I'd like to do is have a bit of twist Y in the body. So I haven't done anything with rotation Y yet. So let's see. His feet. Yeah, I might just again. I can keep this quite small. Something like 7 maybe. I'll key that, and then here, key it again. Here, -7. Actually, mirror it. And then here, it's going to be sort of interpolating, but I want to push that value back to where it was. Here again, back to it. So if I look at the curve now, the rotate Y, funky looking, but tool there, it'll fix that. Let's look at the rotate X as well while I'm here. Well, yeah. So now it's going to rather than just going like this, he's going to go whoa, whoa, whoa. He's going to add a bit more push. Yeah, it's just going to feel a little bit more dynamic. In fact, now that I'm looking at it, I might push it a little more just in terms of size. So rotate Y, maybe just take the whole curve. Uh, multiply equals 2. Let's try building it. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Again, I might end up changing it as I go along. Yeah, it's not a bad start. So that's, I'm going to say, a basic start on his upper body. Like I obviously want to do his head and his shoulders and all that kind of stuff. But I'm running a bit low on time, so I might just pose his arms down here and just stick him in silhouette again and just see how that feels. How am I like this? This is one of the things with the character design. His arms are so long. Yeah, I like that pose though, something like that. And I want to have his daggers. As I say, I'm going for this. For people who maybe missed the start of this demo, and I really want to feel like this image, you know. Um, Obviously not move like it because there's no movement there, but I want to feel this directional force of just, pushing forward, and like he's coming at you, and like you don't want to be in his way, kind of thing. I just play this a little bit, offset these a little bit, keep that wrist feeling kind of strong. I don't want it to feel too bent at the wrist because that'll feel a little bit. Maybe I pull the shoulders back, shape there. Same on this side. I want to keep his wrists really solid. Directional force there, so we have to push this back. Yeah, that works. Something like this. And keep that wrist, that's kind of a strong pose, whereas that feels a little bit weak. That feels like an overlap or a drag and too much. That feels like, he's holding his muscles rigid. Like that would be really wrong. That feels quite uncomfortable to do that. I want to make sure that wrist is just going straight in from his forearm. And then more at the elbow if I need to get it down lower. Something like that. Now we've got a little bit of, it's going to inherit a little bit from the upper body, of course. Yeah, it's not too bad. I'd like his head to feel pushed forward a bit more. Push that out a bit. Yeah. Again, just thinking about all the force going in that angle. Maybe even angle his head forward. So he's kind of hunched. He's like just angry. Yeah, that's not bad as a starting point. A weird thing happening with the texture there when I zoom out too far. Have a look. That's probably just the camera pulling a bit. Make this bigger. Yeah. So yeah, that's his upper body now feels, his arms and so on feel very stiff, and his head obviously needs a lot of work. But that's going to be tomorrow's pass, I think. I'm just going to set a key on things just to have something to react to tomorrow. One key on all this upper body stuff and stuff. Yeah, close. And I don't really want the typical sort of arm push, thrusting back and forth. I really want it to feel like his swords are like, as I said, like the bull's horns just coming for you. And I want to get a little bit of kind of drag in them. So maybe have, this kind of action going, maybe side to side. And that's why I'm going to try and use the aim tool to try and get some nice kind of arcs in those little shapes. But yeah, I feel like that's not too bad. The only thing about his arms being this far back is that it's kind of killing the silhouette a little bit. Not too bad. I can play around with that tomorrow. I'm still getting the sense of his feet pushing back. That's the main thing I don't want to lose. So let's unmute to translate Z again. Selected. Let's zoom out. Give say 80 frames or something. Yeah, it's kind of looking decent from a few angles. Uh, I kind of like it from that side view, particularly. Even from a little bit of a slightly back view as well. It's kind of nice. I might throw in a quick bit of lighting here as well to see what this is like. I haven't played this really with lighting before. But I like putting in lighting pretty early as well sometimes, just to give me, I don't know, just to make the scene a bit prettier to look at, see the textures better. So I have a little script there. It just creates a, oops, not the controller. Actually, what? I'll just move that back for that. Put that light now. This ambient light, that just gives a general overall brightness to the scene. I actually just hide that or turn it down for a second, turn down to 0, and then just play with these with this directional light, shadows. So something. I say this isn't a lighting demo, I'm not a lighter and so on, but I'm just duplicating that directional light now. More contrast in the shapes. That's nice. And then I'll turn this back on a little bit. It can flatten things out and make them look kind of more cartoony. I don't want to go totally that far, but just a little bit of it can be nice. And I often maybe make one of the lights a little bit blue, 1.5 maybe, a little bit like that. And then the other one I'll make it a little bit red. Just kind of warm things up a bit, give a bit of contrast to the scene. Usually I make the light behind them kind of blue. And then I'm just going to take those lights and just their directional lights, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to show lights. I just want them in the scene there just as something to kind of brighten up a bit. This ground now is feeling very bright, so go. Side view material, amber, make it a bit glaring at me the whole time. I like the way the swords are now the brightest thing in the scene, which is kind of what I want them to be, because that's the point of this guy is his vicious swords. Oh yeah, his arms and his head and all that feel really stiff now. But for a starting point, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm happy with how quickly he's moving through the scene. I like the leg shapes he's got. I like the little bit of stretching I've done in the legs that just helps fix some of those poses and a little bit more range in the legs without going too far and kind of changing his character design. But yeah, let's do one more play blasting from the side again. Yeah, I like the overall feel of it. The upper body's feeling a little bit stiff from that distance, but if I zoom in a bit, I think it might feel better. Let's try more of a 3/4. Yeah, it's going to do a play blast from a 3/4 view. Yeah, I'm liking the twist in his body. I feel like I make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, do that just before I finish. Rotate Y. Either equal 1.5. Maybe the same thing with the rotate X as well. Maybe even the translate. Make everything bigger. Yeah, this is a bit more energetic. Might be too much now. Yeah, I feel like the rotate or the translate is a bit big now. So let's do that. That's yeah. I like the rotate being big, but not to translate too much. And let's just try one more final bit of glass just in like a nice close up. Transparency muted again. Loop length. Got a little bit of a true quarter view. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I think the pushing the TZ or the TY, sorry, too much more than that makes him feel a bit noisy. And his head now is really bugging me. I'm really feeling it attached to his body, and it should have a bit of drag for sure in that. But that's and same with the swords and stuff. But that's what we're working on tomorrow. So yeah, I'm gonna leave there for there today. Stick that in my temp folder, my temp folder, so I've got something to look at tomorrow. And we'll start again tomorrow, hopefully around the same time in the afternoon. I'll come back to this. I'm going to go. Thanks a million for everybody for stopping by and for checking things out.